Thanksgiving dinner at Mom's house was going exactly as expected. Too much food, too many people, too much noise from my brother Derek's 3 kids running around screaming, his wife Christina trying to manage them while also taking selfies for Instagram. Mom stressed, in the kitchen, Dad hiding in the garage, pretending to check on something, and Derek holding court in the dining room, talking about his latest business venture. The thing about cryptocurrency, he was saying to Uncle Paul and Aunt Marie, is you have to understand blockchain technology at a fundamental level. Most people don't have the vision to see where this is going. I was in the kitchen helping Mom with the turkey when I heard my name. Alex never gets it, Derek said. His voice carried, he's still working his little 9-to-5, thinking that's success. Meanwhile, I'm building generational wealth. I looked at Mom. She was carefully not meeting my eyes. Derek's doing well, she said quietly. You should be happy for him. I am happy for him. Then why do you always have that look on your face? What? Look. That judgmental look. Like you think you're better than him. I didn't think I was better than Derek. I just thought I was tired of his bullshit. But I didn't say that. I just carried the turkey to the dining room table. Everyone gathered. 18 people, total. Grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, Derek's family, me. We squeezed around Mom's extended table, elbows touching, passing dishes. Dad said grace. We started eating. I was cutting my turkey when Derek cleared his throat. I want to say something, he announced. Everyone looked up. I just want to acknowledge how grateful I am for family. For people who show up, who support each other, who contribute. Here we go, I thought. Because that's what family means, Derek continued. Sacrifice. Sacrifice. Helping each other. Being there when it matters. Christina was nodding along, recording him on her phone. For Instagram, probably. My husband is so inspiring, she'd caption it. Some people get that, Derek said. He was looking directly at me now. Some people understand family values. And some people, he paused for effect. Some people just take, never contribute, never help, never show up when you need them. Uncle Paul shifted uncomfortably. Aunt Marie suddenly found her cranberry sauce very interesting. Derek, Mom started. No, Mom, it needs to be said. Derek set down his fork. Alex has been living in his little bubble for years. Good job, nice apartment, comfortable life, but when has he ever helped anyone else? When has he ever sacrificed for family? 18 pairs of eyes were on me now. I took a sip of water. Are you done? See. That attitude right there. No accountability. No acknowledgement of, I asked if you were done. Yeah, I'm done. But I hope you think about what I said. Family is supposed to support each other. Maybe you should try it sometime. I nodded slowly. Set down my napkin. Pulled out my phone. What are you doing? Mom asked, nervously. Just checking something. I opened my banking app, pulled up my automatic payments. There were 7 scheduled for Derek. Car payment, $487 per month. Car insurance, $218 per month. Child care, $1,200 per month. Credit card minimum, $350 per month. HOA fees, $175 per month. Storage unit, $89 per month. Kids sports fees, $156 per month. Total, $2,675 per month. I'd been paying them for 22 months, since January 2022. $2,675 times 22 equals $58,850. But I needed to subtract the months where I'd paused at his request, because he said he could handle it. There were 3 of those months. $58,858,025 equals $50,825. Plus the one-time payment I'd made for his business course, $2,200. Total, $53,025. Close enough. Close enough. Let's call it $52,847 after some adjustments for varying childcare costs. I clicked on the first payment. Car payment? Alexa. Mom's voice was tight with warning. I clicked cancel. Then the next one. Car insurance. Cancel. Childcare. Credit card. HOA. Storage. Sports fees. Cancel. Have you thought about buying something? Building equity instead of just paying rent. The apartment works for my needs. But rent is just throwing money away, Ryan interjected. If you bought even a small condo, you'd be investing in your future. I could connect you with our real estate agent if you want. I appreciate the offer, but I'm fine for now. Mom set down her fork. Jessica doesn't have a down payment. Ryan, she can barely afford her rent as it is. The table went quiet. I looked up. Mom was smiling, but there was an edge to it. The smile she used when she was about to say something cutting but wanted to seem like she was just being honest. That's not? I started. Honey, it's okay, Mom interrupted gently. There's no shame in struggling financially. Not everyone is good with money. Your father and I understand. My father glanced up from his plate, but didn't say anything. I'm not struggling, I said evenly. Of course you're not, Mom said in that same gentle, condescending tone. I just mean that we know your salary isn't very high. Accounts coordinator is an entry-level position, right? It's perfectly understandable that you can't afford the same lifestyle as Ryan or Emily. They've worked very hard to get where they are. I've worked hard too, I said. Of course you have, sweetheart. In your own way. Emily shifted uncomfortably. Ryan focused intently on his potatoes. Bethany and Chad exchanged glances. Mom continued, warming to her subject now. You still drive that old Honda. You wear the same clothes to every family event. You never travel, never go out to nice restaurants. We've offered to help, but you always say no. I say no because I don't need help. Jessica. Mom's voice was firmer now. There's no need to be wary, family. If you're having financial difficulties, we want to support you. But you can't even pay your own way half the time. Remember last year when you couldn't afford to chip in for Dad's birthday gift? Emily had to cover your portion. I was between paychecks, I said quietly. And Thanksgiving 2 years ago, when you said you couldn't afford to bring a dish, so you just showed up empty. I brought wine. A $12 bottle from the grocery store, Mom said. Meanwhile, Emily spent hours making her contribution, and Ryan brought that beautiful cheese plate from the specialty shop. My hands were shaking. I set down my fork carefully. I'm just saying, Mom continued, looking around the table with an expression of patient concern, that it's okay to admit when you're not doing well financially. We won't judge you. But pretending you're fine when you clearly can't even pay your own way is just $119,463, I said. Mom blinked. What? $119,463. Primera repea, te. I pulled out my phone and opened my banking app. That's how much I've paid you since January 2021. Would you like to see the breakdown? The table went very still. Mom's face shifted from confusion to something harder. Jessica, what are you talking about? I opened the spreadsheet I'd been maintaining for 4 years. Every payment, every date, every amount, all of it documented with bank statements, screenshots, and receipts. January 2021, I said, my voice steady now. Professional. You called me and said Dad needed emergency surgery. Hernia? Repair. You said your insurance wouldn't cover all of it and you needed $8,000 immediately or they'd have to postpone the operation. I looked at my father. Do you remember that, Dad? He was staring at me, his face pale. Jessica. I wired the money the same day, I continued. $8,000. I'd been saving for a down payment on a house. I gave you all of it. I scrolled down. March 2021. You called me crying, Mom. You said the property tax bill came and it was higher than expected. You said you couldn't pay it without missing the mortgage payment. You needed $3,200. I paid it. Mom's mouth opened, but no sound came out. May 2021. Ryan, You called me. You said your business was having cash flow problems and you needed a short-term loan to make payroll. Ryan's face had gone red. Jess, that was a loan how much? Ryan, I was going to... Zero, I said. You've paid back $0. I kept scrolling. August 2021. Emily, you texted me. You said the renovations on your house went over budget and your credit cards were maxed. You needed $12,000 to pay the contractor or they'd walk off the job. I liquidated my retirement account and paid the early withdrawal penalty to get you that money. Emily's hand was over her mouth. October 2021. Mom, you called again. You said you and Dad were having marriage counseling and the therapist recommended a couples retreat. But you couldn't afford it. $4,500 for the resort in Napa. I paid for it with my credit card, at 18% interest. Jessica, we didn't ask you. Two moms started. December 2021. I continued, my voice getting stronger. Christmas. Gifts. You told me everyone was doing nice gifts this year. That we should really show each other how much we care. You said $500 per person minimum. I spent $2,000 on gifts. Do you know what I got in return? A $30 candle from HomeGoods that was probably on clearance. Aunt Carol cleared her throat. Uncle Tom stared at his plate. Should I keep going? I asked. February 2022, Ryan's Tesla down payment, $10,000. April 2022, Dad's investment opportunity that required immediate capital, $7,500. June 2022, Emily's IVF cycle, $9,000. September 2022, Mom's emergency dental work, $5,200. I looked around the table. October 2022, Ryan's business loan, round 2, $12,000. December 2022, the family vacation to Cancun that I couldn't actually attend because I had to work, but I paid my share anyway, $3,800. March 2023, Emily's car repair, $2,100. May 2023, Dad's inheritance tax that turned out to be a timeshare payment, $6,000. My voice didn't waver. I'd been preparing for this moment for 6 months, ever since I'd realized that the financial requests would never stop. That I would never be seen as anything other than the family ATM yun dos 2023 mom's medical bills, $4,200. August 2023, Ryan's payroll emergency, round 3, $8,500. November 2023, Emily's wedding anniversary trip, $2,700. January 2024, Dad's car lease, $3,400. I set my phone down on the table. There's more. Monthly loans to Mom and Dad for groceries because your fixed income doesn't stretch far enough. $400 per month for the past 4 years. I looked directly at my mother. So when you say I can't pay my own way, what you mean is that I've been paying everyone else's way. While you sit here in your cashmere sweater, in your beautifully decorated house, eating your catered dinner, and telling me I'm struggling financially. The silence was absolute. That's not fair, Mom said finally, her voice shaking. We're family. Family helps each other. You're right, I said. Family does help each other. But help goes both ways. When was the last time any of you helped me? We've offered, Emily started. You've offered advice, I cut her off. You've offered connections to your real estate agent and your financial advisor and your contractor. But when I told you my car broke down last year and I needed $1,200 for repairs, what did you say, Emily? Emily's eyes filled with tears. You said, that's tough, but we're really tight right now with the renovation. And then 2 weeks later, you posted photos from a weekend trip to wine country. I turned to Ryan. And when I asked if you could pay back even part of the $15,000 you owed me because I was trying to rebuild my savings, you said business was slow and you'd get to it eventually. Then you bought a Tesla. Ryan opened his mouth, then closed it. And Mom, Dad, I looked at both of them. When I mentioned I was worried about affording my rent increase this year, you said I should budget better. You said I needed to be more responsible with money. I had just given you $400 that week for groceries. My father's face was gray. My mother's lips were pressed into a thin line. So here's what's going to happen, Primera Saeed calmly. I opened my banking app and started navigating through the automatic payment settings. I'm going to cancel every automatic transfer I've set up. That's the $400 monthly groceries payment to mom and dad. The $300 monthly business expenses payment to Ryan. The $150 monthly payment to Emily's fertility treatment fund. Jessica, you can't, Mom started. I can, I said, and I tapped through the screens methodically. Cancel, cancel, cancel. 3 phones on the table buzzed simultaneously. Mom's, Dad's, and Ryan's. They looked at their screens and their faces went white. You're getting alerts right now, I said. Notifications that automatic payments have been canceled. Notifications that expected deposits won't be coming. Notifications that you're going to have to actually pay for things with your own money. Jessica, my mother's voice was steel now. Stop this right now. No. No. You're being incredibly selfish and short. This family has needs. And I have needs, I said, my voice rising for the first time. I need to not be the only person in this family who sacrifices. I need to not be mocked for my financial situation while I am the one keeping everyone else afloat. I need to not be treated like I am failing at life when I've given up my down payment, my retirement, my savings, and my financial security to make sure all of you can maintain your lifestyles. I stood up. I make $52,000 a year. Do you know how much I should have in savings right now if I'd been budgeting responsibly? If I'd been saving 20%, like the experts recommend, the number hung in the air. That's not including the interest I've paid on credit cards because I fronted you money I didn't have. That's not including the early withdrawal penalty on my retirement account. That's not including the opportunities I've missed because I couldn't afford to take them. I picked up my purse. I'm leaving now. And I'm done. No more loans. No more emergency payments. No more family help. You're all adults with good jobs and nice houses and new cars. You can figure it out. If you walk out that door, Mom said, her voice dangerous now, don't expect to be welcomed back. Noted, I said. Jessica Ani Mundo Meri, I am your mother, and I'm your daughter. I said, I'm your daughter who has been working herself to exhaustion to support you. I am your daughter who has been eating ramen and buying clearance clothes and driving a 12-year-old car while you all live in luxury. I am your daughter who you just humiliated in front of the entire family by saying, I co-unpay my own way. I looked around the table one more time. Emily, I love you, but your house renovation was not an emergency. Ryan, I hope your business succeeds. But your cash flow problems are not my responsibility. Mom, Dad, I'm sorry your retirement isn't as comfortable as you'd hoped, but I can't fund it at the expense of my own future. I walked toward the door. You're making a huge mistake, Mom called after me. I paused. The mistake was spending 4 years thinking that if I just gave enough, sacrificed enough, you'd finally see me as successful, as worthy, as enough. I opened the front door. The cold December air hit my face. I'm not throwing away money on rent anymore, I said. I'm going home to my apartment, the apartment I pay for with my salary from my entry-level job. The apartment that's mine and no one else's. And tomorrow, I'm going to start rebuilding my savings account. For me. I walked out and closed the door behind me. My phone started ringing before I even got to my car. Mom. I declined the call. Ryan, declined. Emily, declined. By the time I got home, I had 17 missed calls, 34 text messages, and 2 voicemails. I didn't listen to any of them. Instead, I made myself a cup of tea, put on my pajamas, and sat down at my computer. I opened my budgeting spreadsheet, the real one, not the one tracking my family's expenses. With the automatic payments canceled, I would save $850 per month. That was $10,200 per year. In 1 year, I could rebuild my emergency fund. In 2 years, I could have a down payment saved. In 3 years, I could have my retirement account back on track. I sat there looking at those numbers, and for the first time in 4 years, I felt like I could breathe. The calls continued for 3 days. Then they stopped. On December 28th, my father showed up at my apartment. I almost didn't let him in, but he looked old standing there in the hallway, wearing his heavy winter coat, his hands shoved in his pockets. "Can we talk?" he asked quietly. I opened the door. We sat in my small living room, me on the couch, him in the armchair I'd bought secondhand. He looked around at my apartment, really looked at it, maybe for the first time. "It's nice," he said. "Cozy. It's small." Small isn't bad. We sat in silence for a moment. "Your mother is very angry," he said finally. "I know. She says you embarrassed her, humiliated the family." I told the truth. He nodded slowly. "Yes, you did." He rubbed his face with both hands. When he looked at me again, his eyes were red. "Jessica, I didn't know. I swear to God, I didn't know it was that much. I knew you'd helped with the surgery, and I knew you'd sent some money here and there. But I didn't realize," his voice cracked, "I didn't know it was over $100,000. "Did you think it was free?" I asked, not unkindly. "Did you think the bills just magically paid themselves?" "I thought we were managing," he said. "I thought between my pension and your mother's part-time work and our Social Security, we were getting by. But your mother handles the finances, and she said we were fine, and I believed her." "You weren't fine." "No," he agreed. "We weren't." And instead of adjusting our lifestyle, instead of cutting back or downsizing, or living within our means, we asked our daughter to sacrifice her future so we could maintain our present. He stood up and walked to my window, looking out at the parking lot. "I've been going through the bank statements," he said. "All of them, going back for years. The property taxes, the car lease, the vacation, the retreat, all of it. And you're right. We could have afforded those things if we'd budgeted differently. If we'd given up the country club membership, if we'd sold the house and moved somewhere smaller, if we'd actually lived like retirees instead of like we were still in our earning years." "Dad, let me finish," he said. "Please." I nodded. "You were right about the other night, too. About Christmas. Your mother spent $3,000 on that dinner. Catered food, expensive wine, flowers, decorations. All of it to impress people who were already family. Manuel. Our daughter was wearing a 4-year-old dress and driving a car that barely passes inspection, and we were calling her poor." He turned back to face me. "I'm ashamed," he said simply. "I'm ashamed that I didn't see what was happening. I'm ashamed that I didn't protect you from becoming the family bank. I am ashamed that I let your mother say those things to you without standing up for you." "Thank you," I whispered. "I don't deserve thanks," he said. "I deserve what you did. Cutting us off was the right thing. The only thing. I didn't do it to punish you. I know. You did it to save yourself. And you should have done it 3 years ago." He came and sat back down, leaning forward with his elbows on his knees. "I'm selling the house," he said. I blinked. "What?" "I'm selling the house. I've already talked to a real estate agent. We're going to downsize to a condo, something we can actually afford on our income, something with lower taxes, no yard maintenance, less space to heat and cool." "Does Mom know?" "She does now," he said. "She's furious with me. But it's the right decision, and I should have made it years ago. We can't afford that house, Jessica. We never could. We were just making you afford it for us." I didn't know what to say. "Once the house sells," he continued, "I'm going to pay you back. Every dollar. It'll take me a few years. I'm thinking I'll use the profit from the sale to pay off what we owe you. And then I'll set up a monthly payment plan for the rest." "But you're going to get your money back?" "Dad, I don't need." "Yes, you do," he said firmly. "You need your down payment fund. You need your retirement account. You need your savings. You need all the things we took from you, and I'm going to make sure you get them back." My eyes were burning. "Thank you," I care. Don't thank me yet, he said. Your mother isn't speaking to me. Your brother called me an idiot for selling the family home. Emily cried on the phone for an hour. This is going to cause problems. I'm sorry. Don't be, he said. He reached over and took my hand. Jessica, you are the most responsible person in this family. You always have been, and we punished you for it. We took your responsibility and turned it into servitude. We took your generosity and turned it into obligation. He squeezed my hand. I'm proud of you for stopping the cycle, and I'm sorry that you had to be the one to do it after the lift. I sat on my couch and cried. Not sad tears, not angry tears. Relief tears. I didn't hear from my mother for 2 months. Ryan sent a few texts, mostly variations of "Can we talk?" and "This is getting out of hand." I didn't respond. Emily called once, 3 weeks after Christmas. I answered. Jess, her voice was small. Are you okay? I'm fine. I miss you. I miss you too. I'm sorry, she said. For everything, for the money, for not paying you back, for not standing up for you at Christmas, for all of it. Okay? Is there any way? She paused. Is there any way we can fix this? That depends, I said. On what? On whether you're apologizing because you feel guilty or because you want something from me. The silence on the other end told me everything I needed to know. Emily, I said gently, I love you. But I can't be your emergency fund anymore. I can't be the person you call when you need money. I can't be the backup plan. I know, she whispered. I know, and I'm trying to be better. Chad and I are seeing a financial counselor. We're learning to budget, to save, to live within our means. That's good. Will you? Her voice cracked. Will you come to Sunday dinner next month? Dad's birthday? It won't be at the house. They're moving to a condo in March. Mom's planning something smaller. I'll think about it, I said. Okay. That's all I can ask. I went to Dad's birthday dinner. It was at a restaurant, not at home. Just the immediate family: Mom, Dad, Ryan, Bethany, Emily, Chad, and me. Mom looked different. Smaller, somehow less policed. She wore a simple sweater and slacks, and her jewelry was understated. When I arrived, she stood up. Jessica, she said, not warm, but not cold either. Carefully neutral. Hi, Mom. Thank you for coming. I nodded. Dinner was awkward. Lots of small talk, careful navigation around dangerous topics. Ryan mentioned his business was doing better. Emily talked about her new budgeting system. No one asked me for money. Near the end of the meal, after dessert had been served and Dad had blown out his candles, my mother cleared her throat. I'd like to say something, she announced. The table went quiet. She looked directly at me. Jessica, I owe you an apology. What I said at Christmas was cruel and untrue. You weren't failing financially. We were, and instead of taking responsibility for our own poor decisions, we made you responsible for fixing them. I held my breath. Your father has shown me the bank statements, she continued. All of them. All of them. I didn't realize how much we'd taken from you. I convinced myself that you were doing fine, that you had plenty of money, that helping us wasn't really hurting you. I was wrong. She took a breath. I was wrong, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry for what I said. I'm sorry for what we took. And I'm sorry for making you feel like you had to choose between your family and your future. It wasn't a perfect apology. It didn't erase 4 years of financial abuse, but it was something. Thank you, I said quietly. We've sold the house, she said. We close next month. Your father has calculated what we owe you, and we're going to start making payments in April. $2,000 per month until the debt is settled. I looked at Dad. He nodded. You don't have to, I started. Yes, we do, Mom said firmly. You're our daughter, not our retirement fund. We should have known better. We should have done better. She looked around the table. All of us should have done better. Ryan shifted uncomfortably. Emily nodded. tears in her eyes. "I can't promise I'll be perfect," Mom said. "I can't promise I won't slip back into old patterns or make mistakes. But I can promise that I'm trying. We're all trying." "That's all I ask," I said. 6 months after that Christmas dinner, I had $14,347 in my savings account. My parents had made their first 3 payments, $2,000 each month, right on schedule. Ryan had paid back $1,500 with a note saying it was the first of many installments. Emily had sent $500 and a card that said, "I'm sorry for everything." It wasn't the full $119,463. It might take years to get there, but it was progress. More importantly, the phone calls had stopped. No more emergencies that required immediate cash. No more loans that would never be repaid. No more expectation that I would sacrifice my own financial health to maintain their lifestyles. I was saving 25% of my income now. Building my emergency fund, rebuilding my retirement account, planning for a future that was actually mine. I still drove my 2014 Honda. I still wore clearance clothes. I still lived in my small apartment. But the difference was that now it was by choice, not by necessity. I was choosing to save, choosing to build, choosing myself. 1 year after that Christmas dinner, I put in an offer on a house. It was small, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, a backyard barely big enough for a grill. But it was mine. The seller accepted my offer on a Wednesday. I called my father to tell him. "That's wonderful, honey," he said, and I could hear the smile in his voice. "I'm so proud of you." "Thanks, Dad. Listen, your mother and I were talking. We know you're going to need furniture, household stuff, all those things. We'd like to help." "Nothing crazy," he added quickly. "Just maybe a housewarming gift. A new couch or a kitchen table or whatever you need." I felt my chest tighten. "Dad, it's not charity," he said gently. "It's not us trying to make ourselves feel better. It's just parents wanting to help their daughters celebrate a major life milestone. The right way, the healthy way." I thought about it. Thought about the difference between accepting help and being exploited. Thought about the boundaries I'd set and the progress we'd all made. "A kitchen table would be nice," I said finally. "Nothing expensive. Just something solid." "Done," he said. "We'll go shopping together this weekend." The day I closed on my house, my whole family showed up to help me move in. Dad and Ryan carried furniture. Mom and Emily cleaned and organized. Bethany and Chad hung curtains and assembled bookshelves. We worked together all day, eating pizza for lunch, laughing at inside jokes, helping each other the way families are supposed to, and at the end of the day, when everyone was leaving, my mother hugged me. "I'm proud of you," she said, "not just for buying this house, for standing up to us, for demanding better, for teaching us how to be better." "Thanks, Mom. You're stronger than any of us," she said. "You always have been." After they left, I walked through my empty house. My house. The one I'd bought with money I'd saved, with a down payment I'd earned, with a future I was building. I stood in the living room, looking at the new kitchen table my parents had bought with solid oak. Nothing fancy, but built to last. And I thought about that Christmas dinner 14 months ago. The humiliation, the anger, the moment I'd decided enough was enough. That moment had cost me. It had cost me my relationship with my family for a while. It had cost me the illusion that we were all doing fine. It had cost me the comfortable fiction that my sacrifices were appreciated and necessary. But it had given me something too. It had given me my dignity, my boundaries, my future. It had given me myself back. And standing in my own house, in my own space, with my own future stretching out ahead of me, I knew with absolute certainty it was worth it. Every difficult conversation, every cancelled payment, every moment of standing firm when it would have been easier to give in, all of it was worth it, because I wasn't paying anyone else's way anymore. I was paying my own way, and I was doing just fine.